Let's get right to our speakers. We will start with House District 48. That's Penny Vossler. Penny, I've marched in parades with her, and she's even more talented than I hope to be, because she can crochet and knit while marching in a parade and passing out stuff. So come on up.
All right. A minute ago, I sat down at my table and opened the agenda for this afternoon and found out that I'm the opening act. So that was exciting. I would like to first off thank whoever ordered today's weather. You did a great job. And everybody who brought food. That's a very nice spread over there. And those of you who had a molasses cookie, you're welcome. I just wrote down a little sticky note of 3 items that I wanted to talk with you about today. And I love speaking here because this is preaching to the choir, right? These are my people. You guys all agree with me before I even say anything. So this is, a year ago, this was my very first campaign speech ever in my whole life. Those of you who haven't met me may not know anything about me. I was born and raised in Montana on a farm and a ranch, so I'm equally at home on a horse or a tractor. Full-time in the field by the time I was 12, raking hay with a little tractor and a side delivery rake for the farmers in the group. Long days in the field, and good food. Mom was always a great cook. And from there, I went on to, after not being a gambler, having lived on a farm all my life and realizing that you have to be a gambler to be a farmer. You're gambling on the weather and the price of everything. I decided I would go off to college, first one in my family, and I came away a few years later with a husband, 2 children, and a degree in math. And so I was a math teacher for 13 years, during which time I also got an EMT certification and spent evenings, weekends, and all summer in the back of an ambulance, which was very rewarding. It's like being Santa Claus and UPS rolled into one, because everybody's always glad to see you, right? and it's rewarding. It's really rewarding work. From there, I went back to school, deciding that being a teacher was going to leave me in poverty for the rest of my life. So, and I got divorced, went back to school. I thought these computers looked like a good career, so I started computer programming and got hired at the USGS Aeros Data Center, which my first semester back to school. So then school became an evening thing, and I worked on a NASA satellite project as an associate scientist, which is a glamorous title that I'll happily put on a resume, but the job was not quite so glamorous as the title. But it's great to have done that, and a few more college degrees later, a master's in space studies, and one in GIS. I took a detour through Colorado, worked for a cartography firm, got a top secret security clearance to work on U.S. government maps, and then I came to Iowa because the best reason of all, grandma time. My son and his family were at Iowa State, and so I came to spend a lot of time with my granddaughter, which was great. And of course, she's a senior in high school now, and there's not a lot of time for grandma anymore. But she's busy and productive and happy and healthy, and I couldn't be prouder. So I retired this year. I'm now a free woman. I have 100% of my time when I'm not reading or watching TV or knitting or petting the cat to devote to a campaign. And I'm excited. In January, I'll kick off. I threw some cards down over here on the table, but my campaign is not officially up and running until January. I'm going to announce then, it'll be big and splashy, and I'll have the staff all lined up and everything all printed and ready to go. So in the meantime, have you had enough of this legislature? Who is filled up to here, right? there's so much ammunition, you don't even know what to shoot at, right? It's like a pop-up range and it all pops up at once. We've got so much to talk about, but I've narrowed it down to education. When I was a kid, we took the Iowa Basic Skills Test in Montana, and I had a friend in New Jersey who took the Iowa Basic Skills Test. Iowa's education was the gold standard across the country, and everybody measured their child's educational attainment against Iowa. How's it going now? Anybody saying, ooh, wish we had education like Iowa? We should move to Iowa so our kids could get a good education? You ever hear that? No. And it's the direct responsibility of this, this legislation that we've had for the past 10 years or so has systematically underfunded our education. They claim, I have heard Phil Thompson stand up in a public forum and say, we are funding education has historic rates. Well, if you give that school district a nickel more than they had last year, technically that's true. That is a historic high funding rate. But their expenses went up $2. So that's in effect a cut. They are cutting staff. They're cutting teachers, they're cutting programs, they're cutting everything that they can. Teachers are begging, there are fundraisers to buy things like Kleenex and toilet paper, for goodness sake. If we cannot fund our schools so they can afford to put Kleenex in the classroom, I'm just so embarrassed for Iowa. It's awful. And we don't stop there with underfunding. Then we've decided to take some of our education dollars and give it to wealthy people who are sending their kids to private school. Private school is billed as a choice, but it's not a parent's choice. The schools get to choose the students that they'll take. Oh, your kid's grades aren't high enough? Your kid had some sort of an incident on the record, a black mark? No, they're trouble, we don't want them. Well, if they're a good athlete, maybe we'll take them if we've got an athletics program. Special needs? Nope, we don't offer those programs here. So they're choosing the best and the brightest and leaving the public school system to deal with everybody else's kid. And they're siphoning off the money and giving it to people who don't need the money in the first place. It's appalling. It's appalling. Okay, we all agree on that. Book banning. When in history have the book banners ever been the good guys? No, never. And still not. And attacking our kids and our teachers. These are all reasons why our current legislature has been so horrific. School, the morale is low. Teachers are leaving the state in droves because they're getting better offers. Every state around us pays their teachers better, and they don't attack them all the time. They don't threaten to jail them. So things are not going to get any better unless we change the leadership. Yeah. And that changing the leadership starts with supporting every candidate, every Democrat candidate. If you can find an independent candidate, vote for them too, but check them out. Support them in any way that you can. We'll have a brief little segue into eminent domain. We all understood that eminent domain was to be used only in cases of public good, not for private profit, not to dump billions of dollars into oil companies. They're just trying to get all that tax money that's supposed to go for clean, green energy, and they found a way that they can extend the life of our fossil fuel industry and siphon off tax dollars at the same time. That's a win-win for them. But it doesn't do any good for us. It doesn't do anything for our economy. It doesn't do anything for our environment. And nope. It's not for a public use. You can't have my tax dollars for your you can't use eminent domain and my tax dollars, because we would be funding, our tax dollars would fund these pipelines. So we would pay to have them built, and then they would come in and scoop up huge, billions of dollars of our tax dollars. So we really have to fight against that, and we had good news this week. One of them pulled out. That leaves 2 left, so let's keep up the good fight there. And the third one is women's health care. Now, a good number of you are women in here, and another bunch of you are men who either love women or understand that they should have a right. I would like to say to the anti-abortion group that, first of all, every unwanted pregnancy starts with one thing, and that is a penis. These women are not getting pregnant by themselves. I don't see any legislation curtailing the activities of men or ruining their lives in any way, given that they're the cause of this. Now, if you brought up the subject that, well, maybe we should regulate men's activities where they're spreading their semen around and prevent some of these unwanted pregnancies, we wouldn't have any need for abortion. People go, oh, no, you can't tell men what to do with their bodies. Well, why do you think you can tell women what to do with their bodies? And plus, abortion is health care. My first pregnancy... My first pregnancy was a tubal pregnancy. That tubal pregnancy, for those of you who aren't in the know, which includes pretty much everybody in our legislature, let me explain a little bit about this. The egg can get fertilized before it gets down to the uterus. If it gets fertilized high enough up in there, it gets stuck in the fallopian tube, and it doesn't get down to the uterus. And then it starts to grow there and expand, because that's what those little cells do. And before long, it's damn painful, let me tell you. Drop to the floor and crawl over, and you can't reach the wall phone, because this is a long time ago, and to call for help. I mean, thinking you're going to die right there on the floor. That's the kind of situation it is. But the pain ebbed. I got to the phone, called my mom. She got help there. I was taken to emergency surgery, and they removed it. This procedure, removing that ectopic pregnancy, is considered an abortion and would be illegal. Which is the reason why Iowa is now rapidly becoming, well, they're already classified as a women's healthcare desert. There are no OBGYNs dying to move to Iowa and take jobs here. Like, not going to do that. A lot of other states are seeing the same situation because they can't care for this patient without possibly losing their livelihood and being put in jail. But I would be dead if that ruptures. I mean, you know, anything ruptures inside your body, that's not a good thing, right? I don't care what's rupturing, but anytime something inside of you ruptured, that's a bad deal. So you can bleed out, and it doesn't take very long. Right, Dr. Brown? Just checking my facts, because I try to keep it real. So if doctors can't treat, how many young women in this state are going to die unnecessarily? Your daughters, your granddaughters, your niece, your nephew. Well, not your nephew. Your niece's wife. Your niece, your nephew and his wife. Family tragedies are going to happen everywhere. And so many of our people don't realize how many pregnancies end. It's at least 1 in 4, maybe more, end in some sort of a miscarriage. And the tissue that is miscarried doesn't necessarily come out all clean. You may have to have a procedure to remove the rest of that. And that, again, would be illegal with the new laws they're passing. So then you're looking at infections and sepsis and death. And so with that lovely thought, let's get rid of these yahoos in the office who don't know what they're doing, who don't seem to care about any of us. They want to just give our tax breaks to wealthy people, and you just... You know, you don't need to be educated. We don't want you reading or thinking or knowing too much, you know. We just want you to let us, we'll take care of it. There, be a good little citizen, and we'll just take care of everything. Don't worry about it. And it's time for us to stand up. So all of you know that something needs to be done. And it doesn't mean somebody else needs to do it. It means you need to do something. If you volunteer with a campaign, host a little fundraiser, throw a few dollars at it, go knock on some doors, just put a sign in your yard. Whatever it is that you can do, make some phone calls. Whatever you can do for a candidate, contact that candidate and do it.